John is standing on a crowded Los Angeles street corner, a city that never ceases moving. The sounds of honking cars, hurried footsteps, and the bustle of life don't seem to reach him. Here he is invisible, simply another face in the throng someone looks at and rapidly forgets his beard is messy, his clothing is ripped, and his weary eyes tell of years spent battling an apparently never-ending conflict. He signs, "Hungry." Today, he modifies the words on the cardboard to "anything helps." His sign now says, "Elon Musk, help me change my life." This is not just another day for John. Months or even years of desperate thought come to a climax here. Long enough on the streets, he knows that survival is everything and that goodwill is ephemeral. Still, something inside him changes today. He is not asking for leftover food or extra change today. He is looking for an opportunity to reconstruct his life. Despite knowing it won't be easy, he is determined to try it. He has taken into account Elon Musk's ideas, his vision for the future, and his conviction that invention has the great potential to transform life. Perhaps, just maybe, Musk's capacity for large thinking could enable someone like John to see beyond daily survival. Musk might be able to enable him to escape the cycle of poverty at last. People stroll past John as he stands there, too occupied in their own lives to notice his. Some avoid staring at him totally, while others toss some coins into his cup. Nobody seems to perceive the extreme irritation in his eyes. Nobody seems to give any thought to the dreams he still carries inside. But John is not just another homeless man these days. Today, he is putting everything on the line with a single message. One straightforward assistance request. Despite the risk, he is willing to take it once more. He gazes down at the placard. Though his hands quiver slightly, he feels a profound spark of optimism within him. Might anything fresh start from here? John is standing on the street corner when an unexpected event causes his heart to pound in his chest. A sleek Tesla automobile slides up to the curb a few feet distant. Before the driver's side door opens, the engine hums quietly. Out walks none other than Elon Musk. John finds his breath stopping in his throat. On TV, he saw Musk's face. He heard about his dreams to alter the world. But he never dreamed the man behind all the headlines would stroll up to him on a haphazard street corner. John freezes for a split second. His hands turn cold, his heart quickens, and his mind races. He was waiting for this very time. He bears the weight of it. The optimism, the desperation, the pure ambiguity about what might come next. And what would you say to someone like Musk? When everyone else is watching, how do you ask for help? Musk goes over, his eyes moving from the sign to John. His step is not hesitant. His expression shows no doubt. He is inquisitive, indeed, but not cynical. He stares at John as though he is actually fascinated by the sign's hidden message. Musk speaks, his voice cool but with a hint of inquiry in it, wondering, is this for real? As he tries to determine whether this is some kind of hoax or something more, John opens his mouth. But initially, no words come out. Though his heart is beating and his throat is dry, he understands he needs to talk. He takes a deep breath, gathers his thoughts, and finally begins to explain. "I'm not asking for a handout," John replies, his voice quivering but with resolve. "I simply have a chance here. I have a genuine chance to improve my life. I want to do something that will last, rather than merely survive another day. I'm not seeking funds just to get by. I need funds to enable me to create something real." Musk closely monitors him, his demeanor gradually softening. His eyes don't display sympathy. Instead, they convey a serene awareness that contrasts with the typical stories of despair. John seems to connect with his honesty, and for a moment, the background noise of their surroundings fades away. Now, it's just the two of them. One man seeking assistance, the other listening. Musk did not react right away. Rather, he stands there, absorbing John's words and his yearning to reconstruct his life and engage in important activities. Musk starts to see something in John's voice, a sort of unvarnished honesty that transcends mere charitable appeal. This man wants to transform his life rather than merely leave it. Elon Musk approaches. his eyes never leaving John as he muses over what he has just heard. Musk silently lowers to John's level to personally meet the man who has been waiting for a shot. The gesture feels different. Musk is meeting him where he is, not looking down on him. This modest act of respect instills a flood of optimism in John, who has endured so much disregard with aid. "What would you do?" Musk asks, his voice steady and tinged with genuine curiosity. John pauses momentarily, not sure how to best express his ideas. He cannot afford to ruin this, though. It is his chance. He inhales deeply, then talks from the heart. "I can fix things," John says, his voice growing in assurance. "Our radios, little appliances, bicycles. People tend to discard a lot of items, but I have the knowledge and skills to bring them back under control. All my life, I have been correcting things. I'm not requesting a handout here. I just need a means to get back on my feet and begin something I could develop alone." Musk pays full attention and absorbs every word. John's talents, tenacity, and ambition to make a tangible impact are now evident. In reality, there is a possibility. "All right," Musk says, nodding gently. "This is what I'm going to do." John feels a surge of expectation filling his chest. Musk says, his voice stern but clear, "I'm giving you $10,000. However, there is a drawback. You cannot use it for anything transient, food, or rent. You needed to use this money to build something enduring, a foundation for your future." John lets out a caught breath. $10,000 is more than he could have ever imagined, providing a lifeline he never would have considered possible. Still, the weight of Musk's remarks really strikes him. "There is not a free pass here," Musk says, his eyes sharply focused. "There's no second chance. If you waste this money, that's the end of it. However, I will closely monitor your progress if you manage to make it work and produce something tangible. If you succeed, I can provide further assistance." Stunned, John stands there as the weight of the offer sinks in. Money, Musk's belief, and the chance to prove himself. Though the road ahead is unknown, John has hope for the first time in a long time. This is his chance to show he is more than just survival-orientated. He has the ability to initiate a new life, John adds, his voice calm now, a fresh sense of purpose infusing him. "I'll do it. I won't toss this." Musk nods slightly in approval and turns to go. Despite the conclusion of the discussion, Musk's impending challenge lingers in the air. John sees Musk retreat into the Tesla, the gentle click of the auto door closing. Right now, his surroundings seem different. As though everything has changed, John dives into his new life with a sense of purpose he hasn't had in years. He feels, for the first time in years, a future, a real potential to create something enduring. As he launches his little repair company, the next few days are a frenzy of activity. He purchases a simple set of tools, nothing fancy, that he can afford, and discovers a reasonably priced storage facility on the outskirts of town. Despite its modest size, it serves as his personal space and the initial manifestation of his dream. John starts working on anything he can find within the poorly lit flat. Broken toasters, damaged bikes, and obsolete electronics people have thrown away. Everything he fixes feels like a minor triumph, a step towards something more. But the path is not simple. His purchased tools break more often than he anticipated and are not of excellent quality. It's frustrating. There are days when John feels like he's fighting a losing battle. Sometimes clients fail to show up to pick up their fixed goods, leaving unpaid bills and mounting questions. The company's growth is slow, and the allocated funds are insufficient to cover all expenses. At night, self-doubt whispers that perhaps this isn't working out after all. Then, however, something occurs. A breakthrough. Victor arrives at the storage facility with a damaged microwave one afternoon. "I found it in my garage," he adds, glancing at the jumble of tools and spare parts. "Thought you might correct it." John pauses to consider the microwave and inhales deeply. This offers his opportunity. He disassembles the microwave with steady hands and closely examines the circuits and cables. Hours pass without John stopping. His resolve propels him ahead. Then the microwave hums to life as he at last plugs it into wide-eyed. Victor fixes his gaze on it and starts to grin. "Man, you're fantastic." He hands over $30 to John and says, "I will spread the word about you to my neighbors. They will be eager to deliver their belongings to you." That instant seems to mark a turning point. John feels like he is doing something important for the first time, not just like someone who is surviving. Word starts to travel. More people approach him carrying radios, toasters, and damaged bikes. Every fix is another piece of his future, and he begins to see that the money was meant to help him reconstruct his life one repair at a time. Not only to mend things, John begins to realize the potential of his work as the number of calls increases. His little company is a means of thriving rather than only survival. Every achievement fuels his confidence and drives the company forward. Though the route is still challenging, John is free from past entrapment. John progresses step by step, and the neighborhood quickly shows interest in his small repair shop. Intrigued by the handwritten notices John had posted around town, a local reporter goes by the storage facility one morning. Curious about the guy behind the repairs, she probes John about his path. At first, John hesitates before sharing his story, detailing his experience of homelessness, how Musk offer sparked a change in his life, and how he was gradually rebuilding his life with each repair he completed at John's will, and the accomplishments he has achieved in such a brief period inspire the writer. A few days later, they released the paper, From Homeless to Hopeful, the man who fixes life one repair at a time. The item becomes viral. John's resiliency touches people all throughout the city, even outside of it. Originally a small storage space in a rundown area of the city, John's small repair business has come to represent second chances. The post goes viral on social media and starts discussions about homelessness, the need for self-determination, and the surprising paths people could choose to follow as the narrative travels. Something amazing starts to happen. Strangers reach out to assist. Those who have never met John donate, encourage, and support. People begin to arrive at his storage facility, some carrying broken goods in need of repair, while others simply offer their kindness. A man drives up in his automobile one day with a big, spotless toolkit. "I saw your story," he says, passing it to John. "Think you could make more use of this than I could." John pauses there, astounded by the kindness. He never would have expected anything like this. The toolbox reminds us that there are still decent people out there, people ready to help him carry on his work. It is more than simply the instruments he needs. It's a really appreciative moment. Given by a stranger, the toolbox marks John's change in life. Initially presented as a meager opportunity by Musk, the toolbox began as a network of support driven by compassion and the conviction that everyone, regardless of background, deserves a chance at a better future. John has fresh optimism when he clutches the toolbox. People who have watched his narrative and believe in him share his dream, making it no longer solely his own. Months pass, and John's little repair shop keeps expanding. He recognizes that, despite the unknown, the future is filled with opportunities every day. Business is consistent, and he feels successful with every new fix. Despite all the progress, he still harbors a persistent sense of not fully realizing his potential. Just as he begins to doubt his ability to truly grow his company, an unexpected event occurs. John looks up one afternoon, working on a damaged washing machine, to see a beautiful automobile drive up outside his shop. His heartbeat quickens as the door opens, and Elon Musk confidently steps forward. John pauses momentarily, not sure what he is seeing. Musk, whose life changed months ago, is standing in front of him, as if waiting for this moment. "Hey, John," Musk smiles and says. "I wanted to watch your progress." John is taken aback, still comprehending what is happening. His hands quiver as he cleans his brow. I can't believe you're here," he replies in a voice barely audible. Musk grins. "I have been watching your development. With only $10,000, you have accomplished more than most would have with $1 million. John freezes in speech. Musk's compliments reflect more than only words could say. John has built a life that extends beyond his wealth, Musk continues, "You've made this meaningful." Impressive, John bursts with thankfulness and pride. Musk is not quite done. Though reaching into his jacket pocket and drawing out a checkbook, Musk adds, "I think it's time to take this to the next level. Here's $50,000. Apply it to grow your company, increase staff, and impart what you've learned to others. You could change more lives than just your own." That John's eyes brighten as he reads the check. $50,000. This is an astounding sum that has the potential to completely transform his company. The offer overwhelms him, and he is not sure what to say. Musk pats him on the back and beams. "You deserve this. Now, it's your turn to give back. Help others as you have helped yourself." John realizes something when Musk's remarks settle in weight. His path now transcends simply himself. It's about providing individuals, just like him, with a second opportunity and possibilities. With this new investment, he can create a place where individuals can learn, develop, and reconstruct their lives, just as he did. With potentially significant ripple effects, John raises his head toward Musk, a mixture of thanks and resolve. "I won't let you down," he promises. Musk nods in agreement, then gets into his car and drives off, giving John the keys to a fresh future. With the $50,000, the store will grow, and John will employ those who have gone through hardships comparable to his own. Having seized the opportunity, he now possesses the resources to impart the skills he acquired to others. For John, this is merely a starting point. It's about creating a legacy of second chances and enabling others to realize what he once thought was unattainable. Not only surviving anymore, John's life is altering in ways he never would have anticipated. The future is brighter than he could have ever dreamed. Drawing on Musk's $50,000 investment, he decides to grow. Originally housed in a modest repair business within a limited storage space, the company is now opening a shopfront on a major thoroughfare. The site is ideal, clear, easily reachable, and bursting with possibilities. John has been waiting for this fresh chapter, one that will let him reach even more people. John is not only thinking about the expansion of his company, but also about the individuals he may assist along the way. He assembles a small team and employs people who, like him, have battled to get out. Hard-hit people, and those who fell through the cracks can rebuild now. John imparts to them the values of perseverance, diligence, and the need for second chances that have guided him throughout his journey. In addition to teaching them how to fix objects, the shop starts to represent more than just a place for fixes. It becomes a community center. Not only do neighbors restore damaged appliances or bikes, but they also tell their stories. Stories of struggle, sorrow, and hope. John listens, provides encouragement, support, and a forum where others may get their footing. John sets up a donation bucket at the desk to assist those who are still struggling. Each dollar directly contributes to addressing the needs of others. John aspires to contribute to the community that assisted him in rebuilding his own life, whether it's aiding a financially struggling veteran or a single mother unable to afford a repair. Stranger kindness fills the jar, and John's heart swells with thanks. John starts sharing his path in interviews and presentations as the company expands. When invited to speak at neighborhood gatherings, he exhorts others to never give up, regardless of their distance from success. He counsels his listeners that it's never too late to turn things around. Born from his personal struggle and achievement, this message is one he really believes in. People who must hear that it is possible to rise once more, no matter how difficult it may seem, will find resonance in John's comments. John's metamorphosis is about the lives he influences, the possibilities he generates, and his conviction that everyone deserves a second chance. Not only about business. With each repair, job, and person who comes through the door looking not just for a remedy, but also for hope for their own life, the knock-on effects of his path keep affecting more people. John now sees that the lives he has affected, the individuals he has assisted, and the lessons discovered along the road define success rather than monetary value or repairs. More importantly, his heart is filled with joy as he is making a difference, one repair at a time. A small child with a broken toy car enters the shop, capturing John's attention amidst the bustling activity. John once knew all too well. The lad looks up at him with a mixture of hope and uncertainty. John smiles warmly and grabs the toy vehicle from him, prepared to treat it with the same care and accuracy he has used for everything else. The lad observes carefully, curious eyes ablaze as he works. Once the car is at last fixed, it hums back to life, its wheels whirling once more. The lad's face flashes with delight. "Wow! You really are incredible," he says this while clutching the toy automobile. But then he says, looking carefully, "Do you ever see the man who assisted you? Who handed you all that money?" John stops momentarily, a gentle smile flickering at the margins of his mouth. Looking down at the lad, he adds, "Yes, I do sometimes." The boy's eyes widen in expectation of a compelling narrative about the man who turned John's life around. However, John's response is direct, genuine, and profound. "The real help was already within me all along. He effectively reminded me of its existence." The lad seems perplexed for a moment, then nods gently as though the weight of the words is settling in. His smile gets even more broad as he grabs the toy car from John. He thanks John and bolts out the door. John, his heart full, watches the lad go. At that moment, he realizes something profound. Musk's wealth was not the only factor that transformed his life. It was a realization that he was not solely a product of his circumstances, but rather a belief that was ingrained in him. He had the capacity to reconstruct, adapt, and begin anew. The outside assistance he received was only the spark. Always inside him was the actual fire. As the day transitions into nightfall, John contemplates his shop, the one he built with his own hands, the lives he has touched, and the community he has built. His path has returned fully around. From standing on the street corner, waiting for a chance, to a flourishing company surrounded by others he has assisted, he has returned the favor. John is aware that he has made improvements in himself, not just in material things. Even though John's heart is full, he knows that his path has taught him the most crucial lesson of all. There is always a way to rebuild, even when life appears damaged. The shop may be filled with repaired goods, and it begins with self-belief.